In the quiet corridors of the cloud recesses, a lone lantern cast a gentle glow, softening the sharp line of shoulders on the figure beneath it. He looked smaller like this. Not the formidable sect leader Jin Guanmiao, not the calculating mind whispered about in hushed tones across the cultivation world. Just Meng Yao, the man Lan Xichen had once trusted without a flicker of hesitation. Meng Yao, Lan Xichen's voice was a soft intrusion into the stillness. Slowly, Meng Yao turned. The faint smile he offered was warm, yet it seemed frayed and tired around the edges. Ziwu Jun, you always seem to know where to find me. Lan Xichen stepped closer, the soft rustle of his robes the only sound, stopping just an arm's length away. You have been avoiding me. Meng Yao's long lashes lowered, a delicate curtain falling over whatever emotion had flickered in his eyes. I have been busy. The politics of the cultivation world never rest. You know that is not what I mean. A profound silence stretched between them, thick with unspoken words. Outside, the wind whispered through the bamboo groves, a lonely sound. Inside, the lantern swayed, its light dancing and casting their shadows closer together, as if pulling them into an intimacy they both resisted. Meng Yao finally exhaled, the faintest tremor in his breath betraying his calm facade. Xichen. Some truths are easier to swallow when they are left unspoken. Lan Xichen's serene expression barely changed, but a ripple of pain passed through his eyes, a subtle disturbance on a placid lake. Is that what we are now? Men who hide from the truth? Lifting his head, Meng Yao met his gaze. Some truths, he said, his voice barely above a whisper, once spoken, break everything. And some truths, Lan Xichen replied, his own voice steady but laced with a deep sorrow, are breaking us already. Meng Yao looked away, his gaze drifting toward the distant, ink-washed mountains, as if searching for an escape he knew didn't exist. When he spoke again, his voice had dropped into a register of vulnerability that few had ever heard. Xichen, if I tell you everything, will you still look at me the same way? Lan Xichen closed half the distance between them, his presence a comforting warmth in the cool night air. I cannot promise that, he said, the honesty stark and clear. But I will listen. I have always listened. At his words, Meng Yao's fingers curled into a tight fist at his side. His carefully constructed mask wavered, just for a moment, revealing a storm of fear, guilt, and a deep, aching longing. You shouldn't, he whispered, the words ragged. You shouldn't trust me so much. Lan Xichen's gaze softened with a memory of a different time, a different man. I trusted you because you were kind to me. Because you were honest, when you could have pretended. Because you stood at my side when others doubted me. A small, broken sound escaped Meng Yao, a laugh devoid of humor, full of self-recrimination. That was easy. Trusting you was the easiest thing I have ever done. Then why not trust me now? The question hung in the air, simple and devastating. Meng Yao closed his eyes, as if the sight of Lan Xichen's earnest face was too much to bear. Because, he said, his voice so soft it was almost lost to the wind, there are parts of me you would rather never see. Lan Xichen's heart tightened in his chest. Acting on pure instinct, he reached out, his fingers brushing against the silk of Meng Yao's sleeve. It was barely a touch, a ghost of a contact, but it was enough to make Meng Yao freeze, to go utterly still. Meng Yao, he murmured, his voice a low, resonant plea. You do not have to carry it all alone. A sharp intake of breath. No one touched Meng Yao with such gentle intent. No one offered him warmth without expecting something in return, without a hidden price. No one but Lan Xichen. In that moment, the carefully maintained distance between them dissolved into nothing. Xichen, Meng Yao whispered, his voice trembling with a lifetime of unshed tears. If you knew what I've done, what I am truly capable of, you would turn away in disgust. Lan Xichen shook his head, a slow, deliberate motion. He stepped closer still, so close that their foreheads almost touched, their shared breath mingling in the cold air. When the world twists your name and spits it out, he said, his voice firm with conviction, I will still remember the man who bowed in gratitude for a simple chance to rise. The man who served with unwavering loyalty. The man who, above all, wished for peace. Meng Yao's dark eyes shimmered, reflecting the lantern light like captured stars. You make it sound so simple. So easy. It is not easy, Lan Xichen admitted, the truth of it heavy in his own heart. But it is true. Meng Yao's lips parted, as if a confession was teetering on the very edge, ready to spill forth and change everything. But just then, the sound of approaching footsteps echoed down the stone corridor, sharp and intrusive, shattering the fragile, sacred moment they had created. Instantly, MengYao stepped back. The mask of sect leader Jin slid back over his face with practiced, heartbreaking ease. Xichen saw it happen, saw the light in his eyes extinguish and the walls go up, and his heart ached with a profound sense of loss. But before MengYao turned to disappear completely, he paused. "XichenMengYao," he said, his voice quiet once more, a private farewell. "Thank you for seeing me." Xichen bowed his head, a gesture of deep respect and deeper sorrow. "And thank you for letting yourself be seen." For a single suspended heartbeat, it felt as though fate could be rewritten. It felt like trust could hold against the tide, like the truth could finally be shared and the burden lifted. But then MengYao offered that soft, unreadable smile, the one that revealed nothing and hid everything and vanished into the shadows, becoming a ghost in the hallowed halls of Gusu. Xichen remained alone beneath the lantern's glow, its light flickering over the empty space where his friend once stood. And he wondered, with a cold certainty that settled deep in his soul, how much truth he was already too late to save. He wondered if, in trying to hold on, he had already lost everything.